Most OpenClaw tutorials show you how to install it, but what can you actually do with it? Today I will show you real automations that send useful information directly to Telegram every day. This repository collects real-world use cases for OpenClaw, things like earning tracking, Reddit digests, knowledge bases, and more. So you can see that the name of this GitHub repository is Awesome OpenClaw Use Cases, and I'm going to link this URL down in the description as well, so that you can just click on it and basically visit this page. So if you scroll down a little bit, you will see that all the different skills or all the different use cases are grouped by theme. So we've got social media, creative and building, infrastructure, productivity, then research and learning, and finally we've got finance and trading. So you can see there's something like daily Reddit digest and so on. So I wouldn't recommend using this skill or let's say this use case, because Reddit has never liked any automation, and this might work for some time, but eventually your account might get banned, or if you're using OpenClaw on a VPS, your IP might already be blacklisted by Reddit, so you might get some errors. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at this skill, which is AI Earnings Tracker, and we're also going to build another skill, which will be like daily brief news. So if you open the actual use case, then you will see that there is like detailed description on what it does and how it does it. It also has a section about the different skills that you need in order to run this. And then finally we've got this prompt which explains how to set it up and how it should work. So in order to implement this skill, what we need is we need the web search functionality, which is built in OpenClaw. We've got the cron job support, which is already available in OpenClaw. And then we're going to create a Telegram topic very shortly, and I will show you how to do this. If you haven't watched one of my previous videos where I explain step by step on how to set up OpenClaw on a VPS, then I'm going to add a link somewhere on the screen, and then you can click on this and go and watch it. It explains step by step how to set up OpenClaw on a VPS from scratch. And also it explains how to create a Telegram bot and how to get the actual token for the bot so that you can basically make changes to it. So in order to create a topic in Telegram, first what we need to do is we need to create a group, and then the second step would be to enable the creation of topics. So what you need to do is you need to click on this pencil sign here in the bottom left hand corner. And then you need to select new group. It will give you the option to choose a name for this group. It can be any name that you like. I'm just going to call it test, and then I will press this button. So once the group has been created, what you need to do is you need to click on the three dots in the top right hand corner, and then you need to click on edit. So from here you can see that there is an option to enable topics, and basically you need to toggle this on. Once you toggle on the topic creation, then you will see that on the left hand side you have a menu from which you can create new topics. And if you click on this button, create new topic, then it's going to ask you for a name that you want to give to this topic. And also you can choose an emoji that can be associated to this topic, and it will also be visible on the left hand side. Last but not least, what you need to do is you need to add your OpenClaw assistant to all the topics that you create. So in order to do this, what you need to do is basically you need to click on the three dots again, you need to click on edit. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that there is a section for members. If you click on that, then the next step would be to click on this button, and then you need to find your OpenClaw assistant and then add it to this group. So once we have created a group and then we've enabled topics and we've created a few topics of our choice, and we've also added our OpenClaw assistant to this group. Then the next step is to actually configure the OpenClaw assistant so that it can send messages to our group, and also we need to make sure that we can actually mention the OpenClaw assistant in each of these topics, and then we can talk to it. So what you need to do next is you need to open the OpenClaw Gateway dashboard. So if you don't know how to start this, you can watch one of my previous videos where I explain how basically you need to get this up and running. So once you're on the landing page, what you need to do is you need to go to the settings menu on the left hand side, and then you need to select config. So in here what you need to do is you need to click on the raw button, and then you will see all of your settings on the right hand side. So if you scroll down a little bit, you will see that there is an element in this basically config which is called agents, and then it contains a bunch of configuration for the actual agents behind the assistant. So what you need to do is you need to add this block of code which basically says, okay, now I have an agent, and then this agent can participate in group chats, and also I want to interact with this agent by mentioning the agent. So what happens is when you create a group and then different topics, if you want to send a command to the agent, what you do is you just type @OpenClaw, and then you say, I don't know, schedule a job at 5 p.m. every day to basically go through my to-do list and just see if I have finished everything. So the second configuration change that we need to make is under the channels section. So if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that there is a channels element, and then in here you have Telegram as your channel. And what we need to do is we need to basically add a new element which is called groups, and then we need to put the actual identifier of our group that we created in Telegram. And finally, what we need to do is we need to put this element which is require mention, and then we need to set this to true. So what this does is basically it enables the mention functionality in our Telegram group. And in order to get this ID of the group, what you need to do is basically you can go back to Telegram, and you can see that the ID of the group is right at the top, like in your URL. So different topics will have like _1, _2, and so on. So what you need to do is you just need the ID without the underscore and then the number after it. So once we have made the configuration changes in our OpenClaw Gateway dashboard, what you need to do is you need to basically stop and start the gateway again. So what you need to do is basically you need to type in OpenClaw Gateway stop. Then you wait to get a confirmation message to say that the gateway has been stopped successfully. And after this you need to run this command, which is OpenClaw Gateway start. And then what this is going to do is it's going to load the new config that we just modified, and it's going to enable our OpenClaw assistant inside our newly created Telegram group. Just something to note, so if you don't see the Telegram ID of your group here in the URL, what you need to do is basically you need to type in this URL, which is api.telegram.org/bot get updates, and then you need to put the token of your Telegram bot in here. And what this is going to give you, it's going to list all the different conversation that you've had with your basically OpenClaw assistant, and then there will be an element in this dictionary which will say channel ID, and then basically this will be your channel ID which you need to copy, and this is what you need to put in your configuration in the OpenClaw Gateway dashboard. So once we're done with creating our Telegram group and setting up our OpenClaw assistant inside the group, then the next step is to actually go ahead and basically implement some of the skills. So if we go back to the earnings tracker, what we can do is basically in here it says how to set it up. So we've already created the topics inside the group, and then we can just put this prompt and maybe we can modify it slightly. So I will probably copy just the first part of the prompt, but feel free to copy the prompt as it is. So I copied over the prompt from GitHub and I modified it based on my preferences. So we say every Sunday at 6 p.m. run a cron job to search for the upcoming week's earnings calendar for tech and AI companies. Filter for companies I only care about, and then I've put the actual company tickers. So I've got Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, Meta, Amazon, Tesla, and AMD. And something that's very important is you can see that just before the entire prompt, I typed in @OpenClaw, and this is the command that you need to type every time you want to interact with your OpenClaw assistant inside the topics or inside this group. And this is basically saying, hey, OpenClaw, can you do this for me? And yeah, so now what we can do is we can just hit the send button, and then we will see how OpenClaw is going to reply to us. So once you hit the send button, you will see that the message will be acknowledged immediately by the OpenClaw assistant. And now it's doing its job in the back end, and hopefully in the next few seconds we're going to get a response back. So there you go. As I was speaking, we already got a response back from OpenClaw. So it says, I've set up a cron job to run every Sunday at 6 p.m. and then it basically repeated the description of my prompt. And you can also basically call OpenClaw again inside this topic if you need to make any changes to this prompt, like say for example, if you want to add or remove companies from this list, you can do that. And now from this point onwards, every Sunday at 6 p.m. your local time, so in my case it's London time, so at 6 p.m. London time, it will send me like a detailed report about the companies that I'm interested in and about their earnings. We can do exactly the same in our daily news topic. So what I've done is I've basically typed @OpenClaw and then every day at 8 a.m. run a cron job to fetch top AI and tech headlines and summarize them using bullet points. Include not more than 15 bullet points. So if we send this command now, it's going to create another cron job, and then what it's going to do is every day at 8 a.m. it will do research across the internet. It will pick the top news resources, news websites, and basically it will give you a nice summary about what's going on in the AI and tech world. You can also go ahead and install any of the skills that are listed in this repository, but something to note is that you need to be very careful with any of those skills, because if you're not technical, then you might get in trouble and your data might be exposed to some unwilling people. And basically what you need to do is you either need to validate the contents of each skill. So if you open each skill, then it will take you to a repository. And then what you can do is you can probably copy the contents of this skill. You can put the contents inside ChatGPT or Claude, and you can say, can you please validate this? And make sure that it is safe and secure and it's not going to expose any of my credentials. And if you're happy with the outcome of the ChatGPT or Claude analysis in terms of the security and safety of this skill, you can just go to your Telegram group and you can say, can you please install this skill? And then what your assistant is going to do is it already has access to the clawhub.ai website. So it's going to go ahead and install this skill for you. If you found this video useful, please like it and subscribe to the channel. If you want to learn more about OpenClaw or any other AI or automation, you can join my school community. The link should be down below in the description. It's completely free to sign up and you don't need to pay anything. Thank you very much for your time and see you in the next video.